Good afternoon from Macomb City Hall. This is Macomb Mayor Mike Inman. It is the 18th of December, the last weekend before Christmas. A lot of information to share with you today, a lot of things going on as it relates to the COVID-19 pandemic. Much of it is positive, I would say. There is hope and definitely light at the end of the tunnel, but we also want to remind you of some of the statistics that we're dealing with and why this is continuing to be an ongoing concern. And by all means, no indication we should be letting up on any of the mitigation or anything like that. I'm just offering some information that I think should be reassuring to you as we get prepared to celebrate the holidays and move into a brand new year here before you know it. Since we talked last, obviously a significant number of additional cases reported in McDonough County. This information is the latest we have from the McDonough County Health Department. They're currently reporting a total of 1,849 confirmed cases since the onset of the pandemic. They're currently working with about 105 active cases. And again, dealing with 45 total deaths. And again, especially at this time of year, we extend our sincere sympathies to those families who've lost loved ones due to the COVID pandemic as they get prepared to celebrate the holidays without them in many cases. So let's talk a little bit about, I want to make sure that we're talking about, make sure you understand there's a difference in a couple of the items we're going to talk about. First and foremost, exciting news this week, you may already be aware of it. At least one and likely two by the end of the day, vaccines will have been approved by the Federal Drug Administration for use in fighting this pandemic, one by the Pfizer Corporation and the other one by McDonough. The Pfizer vaccine was released last week, and earlier this week we had the first vaccinations occur in McDonough County. By the end of the day today, over 200 people will have been vaccinated with the Pfizer vaccine right here in Macomb and McDonough County. That plan rolled out with the help of the McDonough District Hospital, the ESDA coordinator, the Health Department, and the Illinois Department of Public Health. That will continue in phases moving forward from now until everyone that wants to be vaccinated gets vaccinated. I would assure you that there's a plan in place for mass vaccinations when there is enough vaccine to share broadly. Right now, the first line medical folks, doctors, nurses, first line medical people dealing with people who are COVID positive in a hospital setting, those are the folks that are getting it first, followed very quickly by EMS and first responders, and then essential workers, and then eventually to the general public. These first several rounds with the folks that are most vulnerable, those folks in in congregate settings, nursing homes like that, they're high priorities as well. But over the next several weeks, there will be vaccination after vaccination taking place here. We are a priority county based on the number of deaths per capita we've had during the onset of the pandemic. So for that portion, we get pushed up to the front of the line in some respects. But as far as broadly being distributed amongst the general population, that's still weeks, if not maybe a couple of months away. But it's never too soon to get thinking about how that's going to affect you in a positive way and get yourself mentally psyched up, so to speak, to participate in that. So all those people being vaccinated are being dealt with directly, so there will be no general call for those folks. The health department and the hospital will coordinate the vaccination of those people. So if you're not getting a call from the health department or your employer or the hospital, you're not up in the queue yet. Get to you as quickly as we can, but again, since the initial vaccine is limited in supply, those folks who are most at risk are being vaccinated first. When there is an opportunity to have mass and broad vaccinations, we will make sure that information is shared broadly, and that's a reassurance we're getting from all of our partners in the process. So as we talk about the vaccination on one hand, we also want to tell you about the ongoing efforts at COVID-19 testing. Again, part of the overall protocol has always been to identify active cases, isolate or keep them out of the general population to mitigate the spread until we can get everybody vaccinated. So with that in mind, the McDonough County Health Department released information that the Illinois Department of Public Health will again be here for community-wide COVID testing There's several dates you might want to, they're appearing at the bottom of your screen now. These are test dates at Tanner Hall Circle, that's out on the campus of Western Illinois University in the Q-Lot area. There'll be plenty of signage, but the following dates are the 21st of December, the 30th of December, and the 2nd of January 2021. Those are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and that information again is at the bottom of your screen now. We would encourage everyone in the community, you don't have to be symptomatic, you don't have to have been around anyone, just to go, you just want to be tested, please go get tested. Obviously, if you have been around someone, you want to make sure that you're not positive, you can go test. Those are free, and those are available, again, those dates at the bottom of your screen. As it relates to McDonough District Hospital, you can still go test there at their test site, and they have some updated hours there at the bottom of your screen now. For example, they'll be closing at 1 o'clock on Christmas Eve. They will not be open for testing on Christmas Day nor New Year's Eve, but their other hours of operation are as usual. So that information's at the bottom of your screen now. We'd also like to encourage you to, again, if all those two options are not in your convenient zone, you can still make arrangements through the local CVS pharmacy here as well. So many opportunities to test. Please avail yourself of the ability to test. Again, don't have to have symptoms, no doctor's order, nothing. You can just simply show up in the queue and be tested. And I would remind you, or at least let you know, that, for example, the test being administered at MDH is now slightly different than before. The probe that they're using in your nasal cavity is not nearly as invasive. It's not going as far into your nasal cavity as maybe you had experienced in the past. From what I understand, that's a little plus. All my testing's been done through the Department of Public Health out at the university's testing sites over the last several weeks. But that's a plus at MDH now. So we want to remind you of a couple other things. We continue to offer several incentives to businesses and as well as individuals. So for example, the Ripple 2 program, that's an incentive by the city to encourage local shopping, and all you need to do is bring receipts totaling $200 or more, or mail them to City Hall, bring them by, drop them in the drop box, whatever the case may be. Just put it on the envelope, hey, Ripple program. Give us those receipts. We'll in turn send you a $50 Chamber of Commerce gift certificate to reuse back into the community. So that program will be nearing an end soon. So if you got the receipts, go ahead and either mail them or drop them by City Hall. And again, we'll get you the gift certificate in the mail. It's coming directly from the city, not from the Chamber of Commerce. We've had some good participation. It's not going as we had hoped. We had hoped there'd be many more people involved. Maybe you're all saving it for the last minute, and that's okay too. But we've set aside several tens of thousands of dollars to incent this program, not only to help our local businesses, but to again put money back in people's pockets who have taken the time to invest in the businesses here as our way of saying thank you. So the Ripple program, that information is available on the downtown website, so check it out there. There's a form you need to complete, put that in the envelope with the receipts. I also want to tell you about the couple of other incentive programs we've had some really good luck with at the city level. We've made an application with the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. We've been initially awarded $200,000 in a grant program to reimburse those businesses that were impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic that weren't allowed to do business except outdoors initially, our restaurants, bars, and other gathering places. We've got all that money allocated. $200,000 will be going back to those businesses that qualify and have the ability to prove reimbursement costs. That money is all set out to go. That was approved by the City Council over the last couple of weeks. Grateful to be able to do that, committing our community development staff and downtown development staff person, Kristen Terry, for getting that information out. It wasn't just downtown, but those would have been any restaurants or bars in the community that qualified. And then we're waiting on approval from the DCEO for another $200,000 grant program that would be available to all essential businesses that were negatively impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic or continuing to be impacted. So we hope to get approval here either later today or the first of next week. The important thing is that those businesses that believe they may qualify, we're sorry we don't have the information available to actually put out yet because we haven't been approved yet. But get the receipts together, be ready, and so we can act quickly, because there will be a deadline in which those receipts will have to be turned in to be eligible for that grant. So we're excited about that. Almost $500,000 coming from direct incentives that the cities have applied for and will be putting back into the local economy. And then also we're getting some information, some additional businesses in the community have been the recipients of the Business Interruption Grant Program. That was ran at the state level. Some of our staff here helped get those applications ready for some of our local businesses, but we have no hand in the distribution of any of those funds or the application process other than just helping. We're getting some really good numbers coming back into the community as far as additional dollars. So for those businesses that have been so negatively impacted, it does appear that finally additional help is on the way. We're grateful for that. And then again, there appears to be some movement in Washington, D.C. With the Congress on getting some additional stimulus money back out into the economy. And we're looking cautiously optimistic that's going to come to pass. We've made some outreach to our congressional delegation, those folks that represented us in Washington and Congress, asking for that type of support. There's a bunch of other things that you should probably be aware of as it relates to that application process for the city's second phase of the essential businesses. So watch for that. Check out the downtown webpage, the Facebook page, or the city's website. We'll get the information on there as soon as we're approved. Some other things we want to make you aware of, probably very important one. Tomorrow, right here at City Hall, the Jolly Old Elf will be back in Macomb for one additional opportunity for folks to get in front of him and get their Christmas wish list out and let him be aware that they're still here and anxious for him to show up on Christmas Eve and on Christmas Day. The hours will be from tomorrow here in front of City Hall from 1 until 2. There'll be social distancing, masks will be required, staff will be here to assist with getting you and all your favorite folks in front of St. Nicholas, and the idea being that it's outdoors and still an opportunity to have that interaction with Santa Claus. So again, a lot of information to share with you today. We can't leave you without the very obvious reminder: continue to wear face coverings, social distance, and frequent hand washing. We know as you get close to the holidays and we're becoming more hectic and more trying to get all those last minute things done, that sometimes our guard gets down. So please try not to do that, because I am certain you, like me, or me like you, have had very close encounters amongst your circle of friends who have become COVID positive in the last couple of weeks. There's no doubt that the virus is still running amok in our community right here in Macomb, Illinois. Not a scare tactic, just being obvious. And I think if you pause for just a minute, you're probably realizing that you're having many close encounters with your circle of friends that have become COVID positive. And we just ask you to remember, don't want to mess up anybody's Christmas or New Year's if we can avoid it. So be diligent, hang in there, light at the end of the tunnel, and stick with it. Stick with it. For now, we'll see you again soon.